agree with you, but you certainly make your case for the legitimacy of what you're doing very well.
Let's take a look at some of the things which Louis Wolff had to say, and we'll let you comment ever so often on this, okay?
What, in the years that you've been publishing it, do you think are some of your most significant revelations? Are there some stories that even shocked you?
Well, I think one of the big stories that we were able to document in some detail was the whole scope of CIA activities, similar to what the CIA did in Chile, and which was documented by the Senate Select Committee, was the whole covert action program in Jamaica in between 1976 and 1980. And we did a great deal of research into that, and we discovered in many ways a very similar program, almost a classic model that was followed along the lines of what they did in Chile, including three major categories: military, paramilitary activity, the use of propaganda in the media, and the third one, which was economic warfare, using the multilateral organizations, the International Monetary Fund and others, to withhold loans which had been promised to the Jamaican government. This is one example.
What are a couple more of the details of that? You particularly mentioned those first two examples of actual paramilitary activity the CIA was involved in Jamaica.
There was a fire, for example, that took place in Jamaica of an old people's home. I think 150 old and infirmed women, many of them blind, were living in this home, and as it turned out, the place burned down in the space of about 8 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. It was discovered that the phone wires had been cut and that the exits had all been blocked. Even those who could see their way out could not get out. And that the means by which the fire was set was the use of a petroleum jelly, which was unavailable in Jamaica. This was one indication, among others, that there was outside help. Why would the CIA, you might ask, why would the CIA want to murder 150 old women? It was because it was an effort, part of a very large-scale effort, to discredit the government in Jamaica, which was at the time headed by Michael Manley, the Prime Minister. There were images produced of Michael Manley in the media, in the Daily Gleaner, which was the newspaper which the United States, through the CIA, helped to support. And there is a good deal of evidence of that. There were images of Michael Manley showing a death mask. I mean, it was his face which had been somehow made to look like a death mask, although it was pretending to be a photograph of him. And there were many ways to try and discredit him. This is very, very similar, in fact, to what the CIA did to try and discredit Salvador Allende in Chile. If you remember, Richard Nixon instructed the CIA in a meeting which was in 1970 in the White House, and there was a document in the Senate report which is reprinted, and he said, "Make the economy scream." Those were his words. And that's, of course, what the CIA proceeded to do in Chile, and that's what they also did in Jamaica.
They also furnished a lot of munitions and assistance to the terrorist squads that were going around killing people in the cities and also in the countryside in Jamaica as well.
That's correct.
Well, John, you had a trip down to Jamaica, and you saw a lot of these things about Jamaica with your own eyes, right?
Yes, indeed. A very moving, a very interesting trip to me, to see a target country at a time in the height of a CIA operation when I was completely outside. So there's no way that I could see the problem that journalists have always had when the U.S. government was targeting on a country in a situation, trying to destabilize it, overthrow, or manipulate the elections or whatever, of trying to figure out what's going on when you don't have access to all of the flow of cables and the discussions in National Security Council meetings and whatnot for the planning. I observed that from published information, the CIA station there was quite large for that size of the country. It was huge, in fact. It was bigger than any station I knew of in Africa, although Jamaica was a fairly small island with 2 million people. That's typical of when the CIA has got a big operation going in a place. They beef up the station and beef up the offices back stateside. the tone and flow of articles in the Gleaner was, of course, as Lou says, definitely a chapter out of Chile or a chapter out of the Angolan operation. Every indication of a massive CI operation going to destabilize the government, to make the economy scream. And in that case, I would say that probably someone got promoted for that one, probably several people.
Because Manley was run out of office.
Because it worked.
By a legitimate...
Yeah, without a scandal, without an assassination, without the things that have caused the CIA so much grief, Manley, a champion of social democracy, of giving the people a piece of the pie, was thrown out of office, and an arch-capitalist was put in office. And again, there was minimal adverse publicity. Lew Wolf and the others were studying the situation and did publish about what was going on, but it was not published in the New York Times and the Washington Post, and the big television networks didn't do studies on it, primarily because even if the journalists of the big organs knew what was happening and might have wanted to, they really just, because of the secrecy, couldn't get the truth about what the United States was doing. One interesting thing was that the effectiveness of the liars in our government, the duplicity. When we formed the CIA, we committed our leaders to having two policies, as Lou says, the rhetoric, the public statements, and the truth about what United States policy is. So an interesting measure of presidents is how effectively they lie. Interesting discussions that occur inside the CIA is about lying. Would you lie? You're the DDO and you're going to testify to the Senate. And serious discussions. Are you going to lie? Because if you do, it's perjury and there's a chance you could go to jail. And yet, the organization expects you to lie. President Carter was one of the most effective liars I have ever watched on television and through the media. As a poker player, man, I would never go up against that man. He could look at that camera and say things that obviously he knew were completely and totally false. And I would study his expression and I could detect nothing except occasionally a little wisp of a smile that wasn't consistent with what he was saying. Like he thought it was funny. But one of his more classic...
tech, actually.
Yeah, well, the smile that I was referring to wasn't that. It was just a kind of like he was repressing a grin, like he thought it was funny. How he rationalized these things, I don't know. But one of his most conspicuous lies was when he sat down with Manley just a few weeks before the elections in Washington and told him face to face that the CIA, don't have the CIA doing anything to destabilize you or your government. We have no such program going, when obviously he did. And he pulled it off to the point where even Manley was troubled. Very effective liar.
Can't giving no praise to Albert Shimir Shai, Shalom. It's a brother Naquan from minus Naquan 144. And yeah, I'm just gonna open up here. You just watch the interview here where it shows you going into the advisors of the trail, man. God, Esau's been lying forever. You know what I'm saying? But his lies are being whipped apart now.
The big organs knew what was happening and might have wanted to. They really just, because of the secrecy, couldn't get the truth about what the United States was doing.
There you go.
One interesting thing was that the effectiveness of the lies.
Okay, the effectiveness of the lies. Okay? That's probably what I'm going to call this lesson here. But, the effectiveness of Esau's lies and the effect it's had on our people, in fact, mainly because even today, 2020, you still got people that that believe that these things that are coming to pass, it's not going to affect them, and they're still going to be in some sort of what is it? In some sort of safety, because Esau says, not understanding that he's not the one that's in control here. Okay. As you can see, is one of the recent videos I just seen about the bankruptcy of these it's like this connection is just moving a bit slow. It's gonna load in a second. The bankruptcy of America. Okay, I'll just find the tab. Just find this tab quickly. The bankruptcy that America's in right now. Here we go. Sorry. It's the video here. You see that, you know, their control is slipping away gradually. Okay, I can't even say slowly, because overnight it's
Guess who's declaring bankruptcy? Brooks Brothers, the high-end menswear store that has manufactured suits that were worn by almost every single U.S. president. It's the oldest men's store in America.
Okay, you just heard what he said. One of the oldest stores now, okay, that tailored suits for every single
president. It's the almost every single or worn by almost every single U.S. president.
Okay, every single U.S. president. Okay, so you can best believe that this company, I can't remember what it was called. I'm gonna pull it back. You can best believe that that company that's been tailoring suits for the U.S. presidents, yeah, was off the back of us Israelites' captivity, of us being in slavery. Okay, I'm going to play some of this and then get back into it.
Manufactured suits that were worn by almost every single U.S. president. It's the oldest men's store in America. It was founded in 1818 when James Monroe was president. Is Brooks Brothers...
Okay, you can best believe in them 1800s. What was the so-called Negro Spanish Native American man doing? They were serving cattle slavery. Okay, they weren't in any rank with any other nation. They were serving hardcore slavery. Okay, 1818.
Alone in these bankruptcy times that we're living in as well. No,
Okay. Now, here over in the UK, we have Hertz. Okay. And I think I've seen GNC. Okay. But this is mainly in Great Babylon. Okay, you have JC Penney's, 24-hour fit. I guess that's a gym store. Okay, rent a car, Advantage, Chuck E. Cheese's. I know about Chuck E. Cheese even though I've never been to America. Looks like Ciroc, Solio, GNC, Hertz, J. Crew, and Neiman Marcus. Okay, that's where your rappers, they quote Neiman Marcus for their products. Okay, but these big, these are like mega stores. Okay, JCPenney's a large. These are all large store. Hertz is a very large vehicle renting store, definitely. Okay, and these are all in bankruptcy. Okay, bankruptcy pandemic.
77 other businesses have filed for bankruptcy this year. Look at this list. JCPenney's, 24-hour fitness, Advantage Rent-A-Car, Chuck E. Cheese. Say it ain't so. Chuck E. Cheese. No. Cirque du Soleil, GNC.
Can't, because Chuck E. Cheese is where these Edomites will go to have a good old jolly time. Okay, you have the little Edomite kids go, oh yeah, mom, dad, let's go Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to get that what is it called, recycled slices of pizza. You can look that up, man. It's been exposed enough times. They recycle slices of pizza, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's in America though.
Hertz, J. Crew, Neiman Marcus. Wow, what's going on? Joining us now, Boom Buzz co-host and market
See,
analyst.
he's saying what's
Christy.
going on. What's going on is Esau's losing his grip. Okay, he's losing his power. Okay, because through those stores and through what is it? Through people buying and being a slave consumer to those corporates, that's how they get their control. Okay, whereas they worship their money, which are the dead presidents. Okay, and that's how they have control over these the banks, the countries, and everything else, going back all the way up to the elites, because it's the elites that actually have pulling the strings behind them. But now they've had to file bankruptcy because the Most High has brought crunch time, so they're not fulfilling the revenues that they once were. Okay.
Yeah, Christy, should we be worried? I mean, these are some of the companies that most of us grew up with, right?
Absolutely, and right now, like the names that you just listed, these aren't mom and pop businesses. These are large mega cap businesses, and as you said, Brooks Brothers has been around.
Replay that one. These aren't your mom and pop, yeah, because that's what they call them in America, innit? So in the UK, it's a mom and pop would be your news agents. We call it news agents, or your local, what do you call it, corner stores, or what do you call it? Mom and pop. I never really understood why it's called mom and pop, but over here we call it like your sweet shops, okay, your news agents, yeah, kind of like a liquor store, okay, off license or something like that.
Pop businesses. Like the names that you just listed, these aren't mom and pop businesses. These are large mega cap businesses. And as you said, Brooks Brothers, who've been around for over 200 years, Bloomberg actually reported that the list is even bigger. As of now, there's about 117 U.S. companies with market caps over 50 million that have now officially declared and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
50 million. You know what I'm saying? Carl, you get me?
With market caps over 50 million that have now officially declared and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcies. So right now that list is going to grow even longer as we get into the second wave or potentially the third wave. And the sectors that are being hit the hardest are going to be the oil sector and consumer sectors. Those sectors were already in very bad shape before this entire coronavirus started. And so now with the added pressure, additional pressure, these are going to be forced to either consolidate or lay off.
Yeah, you're a market analyst.
Trust. And notice how the oil sector, yeah, how it's run by these different countries, that's where the grapple is, because it's a major resource. So as soon as it starts affecting oil, that's, well, we're in World War III now, but as soon as oil is affected, trust me, it goes into overdrive, okay? Because they're like a nitty for oil.
And you study these trends, and I know you're really good at it. So do me a favor, take out your crystal ball and tell us what the future is going to look like, because I don't think...
See, that's what they go to their soothsayers. I don't know, Rick Sanchez, he could be Israelite, okay, this man over here. But you got these Edomites that will throw around that name about Sanchez and whatnot to try and claim the side of Israel. But, you know what I'm saying? We don't go by no crystal ball on that, you go by the scriptures. At the same time now, to try and get an idea of what's going on.
Well, tell us what the future is going to look like, because...
Okay, tell us what the future is going to look like. But for Esau, the future is bleak, because now it's time to cash in your chips and them debts, okay, that you've been avoiding for so long. Okay, man want to go to the shop and get a big slice of pizza and chips and whatnot, and then make hell of all these excuses, yeah, for how you can't pay it. I'm saying, thinking that you could pay because you had a Federal Reserve currency and whatnot, and how it's all coming to a head. Do you get me? Let me grab the scripture. This is Right, let's quickly shoot to Ecclesiastes. One. Okay, so it says here, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years. It's like while the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, okay? Because the years and times that we're going to be living in, the pleasure that you have today, freedoms, liberties to be able to be about, even the internet for sake, okay? This unicorn that we, the Most High, has granted us in order to have this technology and see the truth and get understanding and get lessons in that, okay? Other than reading for yourself, okay, you're able to actually go across the other side of the world by just opening up your computer or your laptop, whatever, okay, and going on the World Wide Web, okay, while the sun or light or moon, stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain, okay, that's the wisdom, okay, understanding, okay, in the day where the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, okay, the keepers of the house, and that's like your forecastings and whatnot, that can see what the economic wave is going to be for that, either that year or the status of the Wall Street, like the stocks and that, if it's going to be a good term, okay, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because there are few, okay, because obviously bankruptcy happens and furloughing, and you get liquidation and whatnot, okay, so the workers are going to be ceasing because there are few jobs, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, okay, because the future is going to be bleak. That's why this guy here, okay, just said, please look into their crystal ball, because they don't know about the scripture. They're not about to, and definitely ain't about to look into the or reverence even the Bible on national TV. You know, when these Ashkenaz fucking that's their what do you call it? Their miracles, okay.
So, do me a favor, take out your crystal ball and tell us what the future is going to look like.
Okay, ain't supposed to be taking out those fucking, what do you call it, crystal ball and none of that shit. No tarot cards. Ain't supposed to be looking into the scriptures to find out what it's going to be looking like. Okay, and this is what's going to be looking like. Okay, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Okay, when the sound of the grinding is low. Yeah, when the low workers and shops getting locked off. Okay, he shall rise up by the voice of the bird, and all the doors of music shall be brought low, because no one's going to be interested in this music and having a good or jolly time and trying to find out what the latest mixtape or sound is. It's not going to be happening. He shall rise up by the voice of the bird, because you're like how you see in the countryside, you wake up by the sound of the crow, or the cockcrow, okay? So when your timer isn't going off anymore because you don't work, you're going to have to wake up basically based on the sound of the birds that you hear outside. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, an almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and the czar shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Okay. So yeah, you're gonna, there's gonna be fears and everything that's going on right now. Okay, the almond tree flourishing, because obviously no one's gonna be tilling the ground or plucking these trees of whatever they have on them. Okay, and in the inner cities, Esau doesn't plant fruit trees and stuff like that in the inner cities, because he wants you to be dependent on their stores. Okay, that's the reason why they'll flourish. If you're around vegetation in the countryside, they'll flourish more. But oh yeah, the grasshopper shall be a burden, and the czar shall fail. Okay, so you're not gonna have any when people say desire, it's like you're looking for a good outcome, but people are not going to be able to look and see what's going to happen this year. Things down the pipeline. That's what people always say. I've got things going on down the pipeline, or watch this space. That's not going to be happening. Okay, the grasshopper should be a burden, because when you're trying to keep your food from going off, you're going to have insects trying to get at that food also. Okay? Man go off to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets, okay? Because you're going to have people homeless and whatnot. Okay? Oh. Here we go. Okay, so see, go back here. Let's see what it says here. Because we know what's going to be coming. Okay, the Most High has allowed us to understand the scriptures, to look into our book, and what is it? It's not sealed unto us, because the Most High, free house shy, has given us that eye salve in order to understand what's going on and what's coming. Okay, but these people need to go into their soothsayers, okay, and whatnot, and try and work out what's going to be going on. But the Most High has them in a trick bag. Okay, let me continue this video.
Because I don't think these companies and these industries that are suffering, retail for example, are only going to suffer for the next year. It seems like some of these things are going to be here to stay, right?
Yep.
Exactly. We're only in the first innings of this, and a lot of analysts have speculated that currently there's about 80 publicly traded oil and gas companies, and we've already seen Warren Buffett step in and try to scoop up a couple of them already in recent days, simply because of the very low valuations right now. So right now, with the limited amount of travel that you just previously touched on, as well as the fact that even if these lockdown restrictions are lifted, a lot of companies have indicated that they're going to still enact the work from home. So that's just going to decrease overall travel as a whole. Meanwhile, on the consumer side, on the consumption and retail side, retail brick and mortar stores were already dying pre-coronavirus, and this has just accelerated the downfall. So in the near future, within 5 years, 10 years, a lot of the current landscape that as we know it currently is going to be severely impacted, because these two huge industries, consumer, oil and gas, as well as agriculture. A lot of people don't talk about it, but agriculture bankruptcies are actually up 24%. True. And that is one of the largest spikes since the 1980s agriculture crisis.
So, in the future, the only places we're going to get our goods from is by ordering them online. What will happen to the other stores? What will happen to retail? What will happen to the mom and pop shop, the guy with the hardware store down the street where you go and, buy your tools, etc.? What happens to that kind of business?
It's going to be very sad and very disappointing, because as it currently stands, a lot of these mom and pops are going to be going into bankruptcy very soon, because the only reason they have currently survived up until June was because of the PPP loans that we enacted. And that was the emergency funding that was meant to protect payroll, protect employees, and provide assistance for these mom and shops in order to weather out the coronavirus, which everybody initially thought was only going to last 3, 4, 5 months. But now, since it's lasting longer, and since PPP loans are ending come the end of July and everything, we are going to see additional layoffs. So even though right now unemployment right now is at a 4-month low, which was a very big positive for the entire market, we all saw the market rally up on that positive blip, we think that it's still too early to read too much into this information.
Well,
because
listen to what you're saying. You're saying a lot of these stores are going to close.
Could accuse.
To read very big positive for the entire market. We all saw the market rally up on that.
Okay. Q starts from probably there or something. It's going around the block.
A positive blip. We think that it's still too early to read too much into this information.
Well,
because
I notice how it's mainly women that you see. Mainly actually women that you see. There's a few men out there, but these men probably out there for their women. So technically they're there also. Okay, because they're out there fending. Okay, either they got a family or not, or their woman has told them, make sure you get this or that. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to what you're saying. You're saying a lot of these stores are going to close. If those stores close, their jobs are gone.
Yep.
Exactly. Those are going to be
fewer
permanent
people are going to be working, right?
Exactly. Those are going to be real job losses, and those are going to be permanent. It's not going to be a temporary furlough anymore.
Boy, that's all you can say. Exactly, because that's what's coming, man. That's what's coming, man. Well, it's here right now, anyway. It's here right now. You're just hearing it. Okay, but that's what the scriptures here. Let me get Isaiah 32 actually. Hebrews. Isaiah 32. Okay, here it goes. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. This goes for the men also. Okay, woe unto them that are at ease at Zion. Okay, I should get that also. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters, and give ear unto my speech. Okay, and the speech is the words of the Most High. Okay, the birds that go forth, okay, on the platform of the unicorn, which you know is the World Wide Web, internet, and those on the four corners of the earth, in the corners and the chief highways and byways. Okay, many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. That's your trinkets, your benefits, your what do you call it? The stuff that you get from your society, like say over here it's called what is it called? Over here it's called universal credit, and what is it? Certain other benefits that they get if they, you know, I think they have child tax and stuff like that. In America it's called child benefit or whatever it's called. But these are the things that have had the Negro man, yeah, their necks in a noose through further afflicting us through this how the society is built, okay, and them having their benefits, women having their benefits, is tightening the noose and further afflicting the men, okay. And separating the families. So Esau has orchestrated this from the get-go. It's what is it? It's structural oppression. Many days and years shall you be troubled. Okay, you already heard that this thing could be going on for a good few years. This is just the beginning of it. Okay, and the fact that it was that easy for the elites to shut down the economy, well, not the economy so forth, but in order to put something there where it would affect the economy, to allow people to be wearing masks and that on a whim. They didn't understand how, you know, they didn't know these people are asleep out here, but they didn't know how easy it is for these people to be just sheepling and following everything that's just pushed on the media. So that's just a test to see how many people follow straight away. Okay, and that's going to lead to the chip, because these people that run around with these masks so easily, that's going to be the chip soon. Okay, willing to bow themselves to Baal. Okay, many years shall you be troubled, you careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, you women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Okay, it's time for mourning, man, because shit is really hitting the fan right now. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Okay, that's your trinkets, your benefits shall not come. Okay, it's going to be closed off. Upon the land of my people shall come, upon thorns and briars, yea, upon all the houses of joy in a joyous city. Because the places shall be forsaken, the multitude of the city shall be left, the forts, towers shall be dens forever, a joy of wild asses and pastoral flocks. Okay, so that's going back in the time where Isaiah was speaking. Wait a second. But now, yeah, the multitude of the city shall be left, because you know, when you get these martial law troops and people are gathering in order to go to get that COVID vaccine tested, okay, people are not going to be returning back to the city. Okay, people are not going to be able to walk around freely and whatnot. Forts and towers, we don't have forts and towers anymore, but the forts and towers shall be for dens and a joy of wild asses, pastoral flocks, because they're not going to be inhabited by us humans. Just like when the heat of the COVID lockdown, the first wave was instituted, you really saw animals and whatnot in more of the European continent, like Italy and so forth. I did a video on that. They was coming back into the canals, okay, because they perceived how calm it was when Esau was in a battle using his boats and his chariots and mechanical vehicles, okay, which destroyed the earth one way or another. Okay, I don't want this to be long though, so like, I'll kind of wrap up in a minute, but this is more going back into Esau's lies. Okay.
Liars. The effectiveness of the liars in our government. You know.
Okay, the effectiveness of the lies in the government. Okay, because you can see now, yeah, these COVID-19 numbers. The COVID-19 numbers are added, 16 or 15 are added onto one person, which are potential. So it's not me. Don't mean they have it. It just means that it's a potential person that may have it. Okay, and they add that on top of a person. Okay, in order to push, to make it seem like what is it? The COVID-19 situation is more than it actually is. Okay, and that people that sit and watch the media, the miracles that are going on. Okay, that's the video here. CDC blows the COVID narrative. Okay, the narrative that this thing is more than it actually is. Okay, she goes into it. What is it? How they add on numbers from someone which are potential. That's where you get the UK. What is it? NHS track and trace app. If you know anything about this, is in the UK though. I don't know. I might look see if it's anywhere else. But the test, track and trace. Okay, if you've been in contact with a person, okay, you can go through that. Okay, because that's how they clock. They try and tell you state and whatever. But then, whoever you've been around now, they include them as a potential. So that's the reason why the what do you call it? And it's on your phone as well. That's the thing. So they can trace you, okay, and potential people through your phone. Okay. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is linked and created now with Facebook, so they're linked together, but they're all basically linked anyway, in some way, shape or form. But yeah, you can look into that as well. That they can, yeah, here we go. It's more a bit in depth. You can see here that they'll perceive that whoever you're around, and that they'll track and trace who you've been around, who you've called, who you've encountered, and claim that they've had COVID-19 as well. So you could be taken up and what is it? You could be taken up and arrested or whatever, or made to be isolated just because you've had contact or been in some sort of shape or form of communication with that person. Okay. Because the rabbit hole goes deeper. But
duplicity. When we formed the CIA, we committed our leaders to having two policies as loose as the rhetoric, the public statements, and the truth about what United States policy is. So an interesting measure of presidents is how effectively they lie.
Okay. That's the, let me repeat it. How effectively they lie, because Esau has perfected the lies. Okay, Cesare Borgia. Okay, us not being the Israelites. Okay, them being the so-called children of the Most High. Okay.
This is how effectively they lie. Interesting discussions that occur inside the CIA is about lying. Would you lie? You know, you're the DDO and you're going to testify to the Senate. And
okay. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to say Shalom, giving all praise to Al Bashim Yeshai. To the birds out there, continue pushing. Okay, because we're basically on the doorstep of this destruction. Kala Al Bashim Yeshai. Shalat Maka Allah wa Lahaim wa Ya Bashim Yeshai Brakana wa Sha'Allah wa Hib Shabayim. Bless the camps, okay, and the brothers for the four corners doing this work. Double honors to the elders and apostles. And yeah, Kwame, that's rolling, man. Keep pushing.